We did it, Reddit. So apparently an animated movie for Epic is coming out. That's cool. I made this presentation before that announcement came out, and I figured now's the time to put it on the interwebs for people to actually enjoy. I know nothing about Greek mythology, guys. I've never even read the Percy Jackson books. I was more of a series of unfortunate events kind of guy. Anyways, enough preamble. I don't have a script for this. I bring you Epic. But like if I were a Hollywood executive and I was tasked with making a live action adaptation that didn't totally suck, probably. This is a not at all brief fan casting. This is what I do with my free time. I'm gonna give a special shout out to these people and contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. Okay, so let's explain some ground rules, okay? I'm not trying to put stuff out there and hoping that it sticks, okay? Well, okay, I'm kind of doing that, but there are rules to this stuff, okay? For example, I'm not casting dead people. I don't like doing it. You can't make me. I don't want to make this more of a what if situation than it already is, okay? I'm assuming that the people I cast can act, sing, dance, and rap. I think Eurylochus raps a little bit here and there. Who else raps in the... I'm forgetting one. Anyway, I'm not casting any of the original cast. I hear you loud and clear. You're probably thinking, well, what's the point if they don't cast all of the original people? What's the point of this video? Well, as my good friend Mortius said, what's the point if they do? What is the actual literal point? Although let's be real, there are like one or two original people that I can't get away with not casting, so obviously I'm gonna try not to cast the originals, yeah? But rule number 4, I can explain. Anybody can play anybody in this musical if they damn well please, okay? They don't have to be old if they're a god. They don't have to be young if they're a kid. Does that make sense? Anyways, there are no kids in Epic, other than that one baby that makes a cameo. Gender's just a suggestion. Now, I will say, I actually did break this rule. This is unfortunate. I kind of stuck with the genders, or the presenting genders that were in the or you get it, you get it. And also, there can be only one. We're gonna be working our way backwards from the least important character to the most important character. I will provide vocal samples in the background. I can't play them all entirely because YouTube is a fickle whore. And the last thing, the last person I mentioned will be my final pick. I'm kind of nailing it into the coffin. That's not the phrase I meant to use, but it's the one that came to my mind. Leave me alone. It's only 12 in the afternoon. Starting with the least important character, Elpenor, I've decided on 2 choices. And I hope you realize that I'm not kidding. I'm talking about Chris Pratt. And I'm talking about Ryan Gosling. Me personally, I think this is S tier casting. What I want for the suitors and for the soldiers, I want to cast all of them as uber, super, mega rich people. And then we kill them all. Eat the rich. For the sirens, we've got something super duper interesting. I've decided to cast Yuri Kuriyama. She has an amazing range, and technically, she has already played mermaids before. Where did she play mermaids? Nowhere, it's not important. I'm talking about all of the Cyclops. All of the Cyclopes. For Polyphemus specifically, we've got Eric Holloway as a potential contender. I've also got John Cena as a potential contender. I couldn't find a clean clip of him singing, and every single clip I found of him singing has cursing in it. But trust me, John Cena can sing, guys. I've decided to cast Avi Kaplan, previous bass singer for Pentatonics, because I thought, wouldn't it be funny if the rest of the Cyclops family was played by actual, literal Pentatonics? Wouldn't that be so funny and quirky and cool? Anyway, the Winions. Anybody could be a Winion, really, but we need somebody who could bring a character voice and also relatability, especially that Princess Winion over there, or the twerking one. That one, yeah. We got Lin-Manuel Miranda. We got Alejandro Saab. We got Brian Hull. We got Brock Baker. Basically, any impressionist you can find on social media, put him in the movie. Make him a Winion. Make Chris Tucker a Winion. I don't know if he's an impressionist. Any given actor that took part in the original Broadway production of Avenue Q, especially my baby boy, John Tartaglia. He's precious, and I want him. That being said, I figure why mess with success? Get Jorge back in the booth, baby. Melanthius. The guy that goes, brothers, come and arm yourselves. There's a chance for us to win. That Jack Black sounding motherfucker. It's Jack Black. I have zero imagination. Amphinomus, the guy that goes, damn, he's more cunning than I assumed. It's Russell Crowe. Either that or it's Jeremy Renner, who you know, I made this presentation before the whole that whole thing that happened. I'm pretty sure it's involving some sort of Asian woman, maybe a restaurant. I don't know. Eurymachus. I think there's only one possible choice for the guy that goes, "Old King, our leader is dead." When I think of belting, I instantly think of Wayne Brady because his ability is unparalleled, and also I never got to see him as Aaron Burr, so. You know, this is probably the next best thing for me personally. Anticlea. We got three choices. We've got Rita Moreno, but I've heard she doesn't do bit parts. Anticlea doesn't really show up too much in the musical. She only appears 3 times, 4 if you squint. I don't think she would do it, actually. But, you know, it would be cool to have another Hispanic on the crew. Audra McDonald is also a choice. Now I'm realizing that I am definitely listing the 2 POCs I had for this role and not as the final pick. Oopsie daisy. But I did cast Meryl Streep, so I hope that makes up for it. Paramedes, the guy who would take that baby and yeet it off a tower. I only had one choice for this. It's Adam Driver. Originally, I cast him as Eurylochus. Not a lot of people saw it, so I put him in a different role. Apollo. Okay, I'm just gonna run through all of the God Games, Gods. Nailed it. First try. Editor will take care of that. I have decided to cast potentially Harry Styles, Billy Joe Armstrong, lead singer of Green Day. I feel like he would make a great Apollo. Andrew Rannells, who you would know from Trolls Band Together. That's the name of the third movie, I think. Jack Wolf. We also got Reeve Carney. Wouldn't it be super funny if the music guy from that one musical was also the music guy from that other musical? You know what I'm saying? You're picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah, exactly. But my final pick is Jonah Nilsson, lead singer of the band Dirty Loops. He's fantastic. Listen to this voice sample. All the voices you hear are this man's voice. He's cracked. Hephaestus. My only requirements for Hephaestus were that he be old, have an accent, and be kind of hot. It's Antonio Banderas. Although it has come to my attention that there are a lot of people that would like to see maybe some disability representation for Hephaestus. So I thought, hey, even though I haven't seen Percy Jackson, the reboot from Disney Plus, wouldn't it be cool if Timothy Omundson also played Hephaestus here? He can sing, I promise. Have you seen Gallivant? If you haven't seen Gallivant, I don't know you. Aphrodite. We got 5 choices for Aphrodite. We got Amber Riley. Her name even sounds like Aphrodite. We got Selena Gomez. No real surprise there. I feel like I'm gonna lose a lot of people with this next one. It's Ashley Tisdale. Now here's the thing. I have no defense. I just really like Ashley Tisdale. Anyways, I also have Kiki Palmer. I haven't seen her in too much stuff beyond True Jackson VP, but I know she's a fantastic singer. She needs to get back in that booth, please. I swear to God, please. My final pick is ultimately Ariana Grande. Get it? because they both break up marriages. Anyways, we got Aries. Aries is kind of a difficult one to cast, but I think I've got a pretty good lineup. I've got. I lied. I have a terrible lineup. NF I think is a pretty solid choice. Maybe somebody in the comments will disagree and somebody will tell me why, but I think he's pretty solid. Me personally. Kendrick Lamar. Yes, I feel like he could body it. He is no stranger to picking fights, especially, anyway. Gerard Butler, imagine stoic, the freaking vast as Aries, okay? Casting for this is hard because I had to put away the bias glasses for a little bit. All of these are great and they would be so understandable as my final pick. But here's the thing. I have a plan, I promise. How did I know that this plan would work? I had a spy on the inside. That's right, Hercules Mulligan, the tail spotting on the British government. We got 5 choices for Hera, and it's not even close. Actually, hold on. Maybe it is close, because a ton of castings are popping up in my brain as I record this. I might go off the cuff for this one. Donna Lynn Champlin, I saw her in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. She's S tier to the max. Celine Dion, she is also an S tier pick. She was almost my final pick. She was so close. She got beat out for number 1. Shoshana Bean, if you haven't heard this woman sing, have you ever lived? Whatever excuse you have, I don't want to listen to that. Patti LuPone, if we're trying to cast the diva to end all divas, to play the diva to end all divas, that's gotta be the most diva that ever diva. Anyways, my final pick is actually Beyonce. Get the hell out of here. What are you doing? My final pick for Hera is Dua Lipa, except actually I will also accept Adele, and I will also accept, what's her name? Frick, the one who did the whole I would like a ring, I would like a ring, I would like a diamond ring. I'm mad that I forgot this name because I've actually been obsessed with that song for quite some time now. I need to listen to that album. We got some good choices for Calypso, guys. We got Lashana Lynch. I'm not explaining that one. I saw her in Matilda the Musical, and I fell in love. We got Rachel Bloom, the quintessential Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. We got Lee Young-ji. Admittedly, I've only heard her sing one thing, but I think she could definitely do it. All right, I believe in her. Plus, we gotta get a K-pop rep in there somewhere. Vanessa Hudgens. I'm gonna be honest, this is more of a soft pick. I guess also she was in Tick Tick Boom, and then she was in she was also in The Princess Switch. I think those are the movies, the inexplicably Christmas movies that happened with her. Anyway, we also got Halle Bailey. You know where she's from. My final pick is actually Sophia Wiley. I need her in more roles. I need her in front of my face, please. Telemachus. This is a total nightmare scenario, okay? This is like Nightwing. No matter who I cast, people are gonna be mad. So I've decided I'm going to do my best. Jacob Collier is an option. The man knows how to sing. Will Connolly. Why can't someone just those high notes and be more chill? Will Rowland also was in Be More Chill, but the Broadway version. He was Jared Kleinman in that one musical. Gerard Way, if the movie's animated, which is a thing I had actually written before any of this went down with the current announcement, okay? I called it, okay? I will, with permission, I'll show a clip of me showing Mortius this presentation exactly, and I said those exact words. Gerard Way, if the movie's animated.
Fire. Absolute fire.
We keep receipts in this household. My final choice is Joshua Bassett. Now I understand it's weird to have this man on here and include neither Olivia Rodrigo or Sabrina Carpenter in this presentation, but also get all the way off my ass. The Lair of Scylla. Shout outs to that one girl who keeps on singing Scylla in the Epic Discord. We got Amy Lee, Evanescence. I'm not explaining anything. You know this would work. Ava Noblezada. I think she could do it. I haven't heard her actually do that sort of That sort of like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I feel it in my heart, bro. I feel it in my heart. Her from Victorious. I've never actually seen Victorious. I included her as a favor to one of the people in the beginning that you saw. We got Brittany Howard. Why in the world is that? I promise I'm good at making slides. Anyway, I feel like she would also make a good Aries. My final pick is Casey Lee Williams, who you may recognize as the lead singer of OK Goodnight, the singer of literally every single Ruby song. Well, not every single Ruby song. We got two choices for Penelope. We got Allison Stoner, who played Isabella in Phineas and Ferb, and we've got Sarah Bareilles, who played Nobody in Phineas and Ferb. And before you ask, no, Odysseus was not in Phineas and Ferb. I'm referring to the actual term Nobody, because she did not play anybody in Phineas and Ferb. You get it. I'm proud of you. Tiresias, we got a really cool choice and a really cool choice, so I put them both in there. We've got Jordan Fisher, and we've got Josh Groban. Is it a coincidence that they've both been in Sweeney Todd? No. Hermes. I had to do a costume change. We got 8 choices for Hermes. Fun fact, I originally had like 15 or 16. I'm gonna flash those names on the screen right now. The names I left out, boom. But you know, sometimes for the greater good, sacrifices must be made. Okay, look, I said I wasn't casting the originals, but listen, we got Darren Criss. If you haven't heard him and maybe Happy Ending, you haven't lived. Archie Henderson, a YouTuber known as Jazz Emu. Well, I say YouTuber, but more content creator. Bruno Mars. You're telling me that's not her? Unfortunately, I don't know too much about Troye Sivan, but look, if we're trying to go with somebody with eccentric tastes, maybe he fits. Maybe, who knows? We got Tom Hiddleston. He can sing. He was in a Hank Williams biopic, and he was pretty freaking cool. I don't know if he can necessarily hit the same notes, but I believe. We got Abel Tesfaye. You might know him as this pretty teeny tiny musical act. He went by The Weeknd. He's an actor now. This sucks for everyone involved, but ultimately my final pick is Pharrell Williams. That's it. There's no other surprise there. Or at least it would be, because while I was making this presentation, I came under contact with Jon Batiste, and now he's my new final pick. Actually, I can't decide. He goes toe to toe with Pharrell. In this scenario anyway. We got 4 choices for the Cersei. We've got Anne Hathaway. We've got Kate Shindle. She played whatever her name was in freaking Legally Blonde. Scarlett Johansson. I don't know. She could probably pull it off. But my final pick is ultimately Christine Alato. I saw her in the Prince of Egypt musical, and I fell in love. Poseidon. Okay, so while I was looking for a clip for Poseidon, let me take off these glasses. So while I was originally looking for a clip for Elpenor, for Chris Pratt singing, I also came into contact with Chris Stapleton at the same time, because they did that whole thing in the Tonight Show where they were singing, "Well, I had the time of my life." And then Chris Stapleton opened his mouth, and I was like, anybody who has a rock background but is a country singer could probably body Poseidon. Except none of those people are on this list, so I don't even know why I'm mentioning it to you. We've got... Why did I put him on this list? This is just for the clickbait. Damiano David, lead singer of Måneskin? I hope that's how you pronounce the band name. Eric Gronwall is another really cool choice. I first saw him in Jesus Christ Superstar, the 2018 version, the one where John Legend was sick and therefore he could not hit a lot of his notes appropriately. Dan Reynolds is also a choice. If you don't recognize Dan Reynolds, Maybe you should imagine a little more. I'm dragging this part of the presentation on purpose. Tim Minchin, my Rat King. One person in particular would be very mad if I didn't put this person on the short list for this for Poseidon. I'm stuttering a lot. I'm just doing this without a script. I already said this in the beginning. I don't know why I'm explaining it to you again. Aaron Tveit, his only emotion is being hot, so that's why I rightfully put him as Poseidon. But I've decided to cast Freddie Mercury. But wait, you might be saying, why is Freddie Mercury on this list? You said no casting dead people. Well, first of all, leave me alone. Second of all, you forget so easily. There was a movie that came out called Bohemian Rhapsody where an actor played as Freddie Mercury. Everybody say his name with me on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Mark Martel. Mark Martel. There's surprisingly very few people that know that he did the singing voice for Rami Malek on that movie. And I'm bringing this information to the masses. Great Wingardiolus. Why am I doing this? We got Penny Parker. You might know her as Snap Cube on the interwebs. She also plays Sonic the Hedgehog and freaking Spider-Man. Laura Shigehara. When the light is burning low. Hikaru Utada. Y'all ever played Kingdom Hearts? No? Okay. Miley Cyrus as a potential option. She could absolutely pull off the whimsical part, okay? She's got it. I got it. We got it. We got it. We're a team. Stephanie Sue recently wowed me in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but first wowed me as Christine in Be More Chill. Anna Kendrick is also a really fantastic option, but ultimately my final pick is Helen J. Shen. One of the big things was, do we keep the whole gender fluid aspect of Aeolus? And I thought, yeah, why not? I cast all femmes anyway, so why not just why there's room for one more. Zeus. Let me preface this by saying I hate Thunderbringer and I think it should be replaced by a different song in the new movie. We got Norm Lewis. He was the first Black Phantom on Broadway. By the way, I do have to say, a lot of people think that Zeus should go to a bass role. No, Zeus is a baritone role, and I'm going to die on this hill. That being said, I'm also casting Luke Holt. Seth MacFarlane. He was born to be a theater kid, cursed to be Peter on Family Guy. My final pick is Philip Boykin. If there was a tier list for Hadestown performers, sure, Patrick Page is on it, but I think Philip Boykin deserves all of his flowers. All of them. We got 4 choices for Antenuous. And let me tell you, I think I have a type. Coleman Domingo, really solid performer. Have you seen him in the new Michael movie? No? Have you seen him in the Color Purple maybe? Still no?
Why do you watch my videos?
We got Hugh Jackman. Because I refuse to cast this man as a protagonist anymore, I would like to see him as an antagonist. And I also have a personal singing vendetta. I have a personal vendetta against his singing voice. Joshua Henry. Joshua Henry is a mighty man. I heard him as Gaston, and I also saw him in Tick Tick Boom, and I thought, hey, he's pretty cool. Put him in there. Yeah. I'm terrible at making presentations without proper scripting. But my final choice is Luke Evans, literally Gaston, in the live-action Beauty and the Beast that sucked. Here's the thing. I'm going to go off on this tangent here, and I promise it's relevant. The thing about the Beauty and the Beast live-action, it's good because it's just like the original. And it's freaking terrible because it's just like the original. I don't want the same thing to happen to Epic. I don't want to be looking at just an animatics compilation on the big screen, which is why I hope they change a lot of things. I'm gonna put some of the changes I would really like in the musical really quickly on the screen, just kind of as an info blast in 3, 2, 1. Those are just kind of pipe dreams. I don't expect that to fully happen. Athena has got quite the mix. We've got Demi Lovato, one person in particular from the beginning. They were gonna be really mad if I didn't put her on the list. So there she is. Morgan Anita Wood as Athena. She would also be really good. I'll be honest, I kind of stole this from Mortius back when I showed it to him first. Tori Kelly, who I did not have to look behind me to double check if that's the person that I put on the screen. I'm going to move beyond this slide and I'm not even gonna check. Where the heck is the space? We've got, no, I'm sorry, I have to look for this one. I'm pretty sure she was in the CW Arrowverse. I don't remember what she did there, but also she played Esmeralda in the Hunchback of Notre Dame musical that should have existed instead of Frozen, but Disney are a bunch of punk asses. Cynthia Erivo, she's a household name at this point. Ultimately, my final choice is someone that defies description. It's gotta be Lady Gaga. I'm not totally mad at this casting, mostly because I chose it myself, but let me know what you guys think. Because I think I have a really solid list specifically for Athena. Let me know which Athena you would prefer. If you respond with Tegan early, why? Paula Tease, another Nightwing situation, but I'm gonna try. We've got I stand by it. Look at him. He's great. Jeremy Jordan, I have to cast him somewhere, and I was not gonna cast this man as Odysseus. Nick Jonas, I didn't have to cast him anywhere. I just thought I'd put him in here because I can't fit Alfie Bow in anywhere. They're still interchangeable, right? Michael in the bathroom himself. But ultimately, I got to think about Hollywood casting directors who they would pick realistically. Liam Tamn would not be on that list, but he's on mine in my heart. My final pick is Taron Egerton. He impressed me 2 years in a row by first singing Elton John as a gorilla and then singing Elton John as Elton John. We got 4 choices for Eurylochus, and it's not even close. Christopher Jackson. If anybody thinks about bringing broad-shouldered, like mountain of a man, it's him, right? Ramin Karimloo. If you haven't heard him sing in Les Mis live, first of all, I pity you, and second of all, I pity me because I've also had to only settle for clips on YouTube. Leslie Odom Jr. would be another fantastic choice. I saw him in Glass Onion, and I was like, this performance is pretty convincing as a guy who loses faith in a guy, like slowly but surely. My final pick is Corey Hawkins. And I'm not explaining this. I just want to see this man in more movies. I know he's probably been in more stuff, but I wouldn't know. I didn't do too much Googling in this process. And finally, we've got Odysseus, the most important character, the main character, one would say. David Phelps, he might have qualms about being cast as Odysseus, figure in Greek mythology when he's very much a Christian, but that's just kind of the cross I have to bear. Bradley Cooper would also make a fantastic Odysseus. Have you heard him in A Star Is Born? No? Go watch it. Unless you're not old enough, then, you know, maybe hold off on that for a little bit. Jensen Ackles. I've never seen Supernatural, but I've heard him sing, and he's great at it. Ultimately, I couldn't find a clip of Trey Curtis singing because I think he's the current Hamilton on Broadway, and I've only heard him rap. But my final pick is actually Michael Arden. If you haven't heard the musical version of Hunchback of Notre Dame, listen to this high note. Listen to this passion. Were made and get back to me. Actually, you know what? The original German Quasimodo. Because, yeah, they did this in German first for some reason. Listen to the final note on your own time. But anyway, ultimately, I don't think any of this casting is going to happen. Mostly because this is a hypothetical for a live action adaptation. Plenty of these would work for animation, but there's a whole thing about actors really phoning it in the booth. You don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. So ideally, we got to cast somebody completely new. Maybe somebody who doesn't really have an internet presence, right? Maybe somebody, maybe get an international casting out there. Screw it. I guess you could say my final casting is nobody. Thank you so much for watching my presentation. I hope I didn't bore you. I hope this has been transformative content. And yeah, this has been me, Soul the Bard. I don't know how to end my videos yet, man. We'll see. Hey, subscribe to my reaction channel where I have no videos yet. Good night.